Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, let's talk about the for loops in a Golang. So, in a many programming languages, you have got a different types of a loop like a for, while, and even do while. But in a Go, things are simple. There's just one loop keyword for. That's it. But don't worry, this one for loop can do everything that others do. You can use it like a regular for loop. Say, when you want to run something a fixed number of times like printing the numbers from 1 to 10. You can also use it like a while loop where you keep running the sum logic until the condition is met, like reading the input until the user type exit. And yeah, you can even make it run forever. That's called an infinite loop. So super useful when you are building something like a server or background process that keeps running. So the Go for loops is a versatile and powerful. Once you get comfortable with it, you will use it all the time in your code, whether it is for simple tasks or real world stuff like reading the files, handling the user input, or working with the APIs. So let's now break it down step by step in an upcoming slide. Now let's look at the basic structure of a for loop in a Go. You will usually see it written like this: for initialization, condition, and post. So let's break this down nice and easy. So initialization is where you start your loop. Usually you will declare or set a counter variable, something like a sorted syntax equals to 0. Then comes the condition, that is a check before every loop. If it is true, the loop continues. If it is false, the loop stop. For example, I less than 5 means keep looping until I reaches 5. The post part runs after the each loop. Most commonly we use it update the counter like I++, which means increase I by 1. So inside the curly braces, we write whatever code we want to repeat. Could be printing something, doing the calculation, and whatever the task is. So in a simple terms, start, check, do work, update, and repeat until the condition fails. So this format is really helpful for doing things like printing the tables of numbers, going through an array, or repeating a task set number of times, which honestly come up all the time in the coding interviews and real life development. So once a quick tip, don't forget to semicolons between these three parts. That's a common mistake when you are new to Go. Alright, now let's see how this looks in a real example in the next slide. Alright, now look at the super simple example for loop. We are just printing the number from 1 to 5. So let's switch into the VS Code. So first we have a got package main. So this just to tell the Go that this is the starting point of your program. Then afterwards import fmt, which brings the fmt package that println function we will use to display the things on the screen. Then afterwards function main. This is the main function where Go start running your code. Every Go program start from the main, and inside that for loop. So we have got 3 parameters. First one is I equals to 1. So we are starting with the value 1, I less than equals to 5, which means loop will run as long as I is less than or equal to 5. Then afterwards I++ means we increase the value I by 1 after every loop. And finally we are just print the current value of I. Now look at the output. So here you can see 1 to 5 it should be printed. So you will see the kind of a loop all the time, whether you are looping through the data, generating the serial numbers, or just practicing the pattern in the college assignments. One thing to remember, if you accidentally write I less than 5 instead of I less than equals to 5, you will get only 1 to 4, not to 1 to 5. So be careful with your condition. Alright, now that you have been seen this basic example, let's move to the next one. Alright, now we talk about the for loop as a while loop in a Go. So in a Go, there is no separate while loop like in some other languages, but you can still use the for loop like a while loop. Let's see how that work with this example. So let's switch into the VS Code. So first we have use the package main. Then afterwards we have used the import fmt, and inside the main function we are using the I equals to 1. So we are using with the shorthand syntax. So we are initializing I with the value 1 before the loop. Then now comes for the actual for loop. So this loop is written as a for I less than equals to 5. So this is the condition part only. There is a no initialization or post update inside the loop line. So what this mean? As long as I is less than or equals to 5, keep running the loop, and inside the loop we print the value of I with the fmt println, and then do the increment by 1. So again it will be printing the 1 to 5. So it works just like a previous loop, but now we have split up the setup. So we have split up the setup first. The initialization is outside. The condition is a for loop, for with the keyword. Then afterwards increment inside the for loop, and that's it. So yeah, in a Go, if you ever need a while loop, just use for with only the condition, clean and simple. Let's now look at the another variation in the next slide. All right, now let's look at something little different, the infinite loop. So in a Go, if you just write for the without giving any condition, it becomes infinite loop, meaning it will keep running forever until you manually stop it. Sounds scary, but it is actually quite useful in many real world cases like server or background tasks that should keep running until we tell them to stop. And now look at this example. So let's switch into the VS Code. So we have got the usual package main, then afterwards import fmt as usual, then afterwards function main, and inside the function main, no initialization, no condition, and no post statement, just for and curly braces. So that tells the Go keep looping forever. Now let's see what should be the output of this console. So here you can see it is running in an infinite loop until we are pressing the Control C manually, or we are using the break statement to break the loop. So we are actually, when we are using the break statement, this is very important that it tells the code that okay, stop the loop now. So even though the loop is infinite by design, we are controlling when to exit using the break. So this kind of a loop is super useful when you do not know how many times something need to repeat, or when you are waiting for some external events like user input or message from the server. You just keep looping and break when you are ready. But quick warning, if you forget to break, and the loop will never end. So program will keep running forever, and which can crash your app or hang your terminal. So be careful. Alright, let's move on and explore more about how Go handles loops in a different style. Alright, now let's talk about the how to control the flow inside the for loop using the two important keyword, break and continue. So these are the super useful when you want to either stop the loop completely or just skip one particular step. So let's go through this example. Alright, let's switch into the VS Code. So first, as always, we start with the main function or and the for loop that runs from the 1 to 5. And inside the loop, we have a two different condition. If I double equals to 3, then continue. And if I double equals to 5, then it equals to break. So if I equals to 3, continue. This means that if I equals to 3, then skip the iteration. Don't run the fmt println. Just jump to the next number. So 3 will not get printed at all. And if I double equals to 5, then if the I reaches 5, then stop the loop entirely. Don't even check the next number. So what's get printed? Let's look at in the console. So here you can see 1, 2, and 4, it is printed. So now why this is important? Well, in a real code, let's say you are looping through the user data or reading from the file. You might want to skip an invalid values using the continue, or exit early using the break if some condition is met. So it makes your loop smarter and more efficient instead of just blindly running the start to end. Alright, now that you understand how to break and continue loop, let's move ahead. Alright, let's talk about the for loop versus other loops. So here's something unique about the Go. Unlike the languages like a C, Java, or Python, where you have got a multiple loop types like a for, while, do while, Go keep it really simple. It gives you just one looping keyword, and that is for. But the cool part is this one for loop is super flexible. You can use it three different ways depending on what you need. Let's quickly look at them. So first we have got a classic format for initialization, condition, and post. This is your regular loop like counting from 1 to 10. Very useful when you know how exactly and how many times to run something. And next is the condition only version, for condition. This work just like a while loop in other languages. You have set up the variable outside the loop and just keep looping while the condition is true. Super handy when do not know in advance how many times the loop will run, like waiting for a user to press the key or checking if a file exists. And finally, there is an infinite loop or with nothing else, just the word for. This will run forever unless you use the break inside it. It is used in the things like a server or background task that needs to keep running until the something tells them to stop. So in short, instead of having the three different for loop keywords, Go gives you one smart loop that does the job for all three. This make your code simple and cleaner once you get comfortable with it, and you will actually enjoy how consistent it feels. So let's now wrap things up and explore more in the next slide. Alright, let's quickly review what we have learned so far. But this is the neat table format. This slide shows you the three common ways to use the for loops in a Go. So let's go through them one by one. One is traditional for loop. So this one is used for the classic for loop. It has all three parts like initialization, condition, and post update. Perfect. When you know how exactly how many times you want to repeat something. Think of it like a printing 1 to 5 or processing the first 10 records in the list. While loop. So this is the Go version of a while loop, just the condition inside for and the rest handle manually. You will use this style when you want to loop based on the condition, not a fixed number of times. For example, keep asking a user for input until they type exit. Then afterwards, infinite loop. Now this one looks scary, but it is very useful. This is the infinite loop. It keeps running forever unless you stop it with something like a break. Used lot in real world Go programs like web server or background workers that needs to keep running. So overall, Go gives you just one loop keyword, but with the three powerful patterns. Understanding these three styles will keep you pick the right loop for the right situation in your program. So let's keep going and explore more ways to work with the loops in a Go. Alright, let's wrap it up with one simple thought. The for loop in a Go actually is one of the most powerful tools in your Go programming journey. Even though Go doesn't just give you multiple loops type like some other languages, the way it handle for is super flexible. And once you get used to it, and you will be able to handle the almost any for looping requirement with just this one keyword. Whether you are doing something as simple as counting from 1 to 10 or handling the complex tasks like looping through the data from the file or waiting the input in a long running program, you will rely on for a lot. And here's the key point. If you understand these three styles like a traditional, while style, and infinite, you are already ahead of many beginners. So keep practicing with a small example like printing the pattern, solving the basic problems, or writing the simple automation script. So mastering the for loop early or on will really boost your confidence when you start building the real Go programs. So don't forget to like and subscribe my channel if you like this video. So see you soon in next video.